Herrmann brain dominance instrument. There are 4 different cognitive preferences in the Herrmann brain dominance instrument. So these different cognitive preferences are A. So they are A, analytical thinking, B, sequential thinking, C, interpersonal thinking, and D, imaginative thinking. These can also be described a different way, that is as A, analytical self, B, safe-keeping self, C, feeling self, and D, experimental self. So the Herrmann brain dominance instrument and other cognitive preferences or other cognitive styles instruments are also very useful. They're useful for many reasons. Some reasons are that they can help to improve the quality of our brain, how it works. They can also be used to improve the way we interact with others in teams. And thirdly, they can be used to help to improve the quality of work we produce in teams. The end result. I'll focus mostly on this video post on the way they can be used to upgrade our brain. So there are 4 distinct dimensions. They are A, analytical thinking, B, sequential thinking, C, interpersonal thinking, and D, imaginative thinking. So analytical thinking is all about technical thinking or using critical thinking or being analytical. It's also about being very objective based behavior, based activity. Sequential thinking is all about control, about being controlled, controlling others. It's about other things like being very organized, being the sort of person who is very interested in the details, about finishing projects on time, about delivering what you say you will deliver. The interpersonal thinking is all about being intuitive as to how others think, but most importantly being intuitive as to how others feel, being interested in all the touchy-feely stuff. And D, which is the imaginative self, is all about creativity, imagination, about being intuitive as to answers. Some of these types are even a bit interested in taking risks, who like adventures. So there are 4 distinct dimensions. and these dimensions have both strengths and weaknesses based upon they have strengths and weaknesses, and they also have different traits at either dimension, either side of either pole, either end of each dimension. I also feel that these 4 dimensions can be factored down into just 2. So you might have one dimension being analytical thinking and also interpersonal thinking. So those who are very analytical are very task focused, give us the facts, whereas those who are interpersonal thinking are all about interesting people's feelings. The two poles of the one dimension. The other dimension can be considered as sequential thinking on one side, and on the other side is imaginative thinking. So this is quite useful because you have people who develop very good quality creative solutions, creative answers, which and also being intuitive as to the answer, but when you are creating the answer you impose a structure on the problem as a way to help you to converge on the answer, to help to constrain your thinking in a way so that you're able to just focus on what's important as opposed to divergent thinking, which oftentimes isn't that useful when you are there to create an answer, especially if there is time constraints. So this is where having some sequential thinking works well with those who are creative / imaginative. So I'll say it again. So you have people who combine being creative, imaginative with being sequential and getting work done on time. You also have those who are very matter of fact, give us the facts, no fluff, but who say that and keep the team on track by considering the feelings of others. It's important to consider the feelings of others and as such work to keep everyone on side, because those who can be a bit too brash or abrasive can work to get members of the team offside, which works bad because in this case the team members aren't as focused on delivering because they may have been offended with some brashness. And possibly even the ideal could be to have all 4 dimensions merge into one super dimension. So you might have people who take the best from each dimension and incorporate them into themselves. So people who are very technical, who are into the details, who have sequential thinking, who also are interested in being intuitive into others' feelings by reading facial micro expressions, body language, and also by reading voice stress, and just having an intuitive feeling as to how the other team members are feeling, and through caring for them, that is helping to bring key team members who may be struggling, help bring them back on track with a bit of care at the right time when they struggle. So I feel as though that is important because you don't want the team to get derailed because people get off track or get disillusioned or suffer from other forms of struggle. It's important to try to create a close team whereby everyone works to help each other out, and whereby everyone is respective of each other's feelings. and being very creative, imaginative, and also being someone who can be intuitive as to the answer, because this works well with those who know all the details, because oftentimes when you're working the details you can get lost in logic, and a small logic error can cause everything to go to crap, which is bad, which is why being intuitive helps, because it works to help you to identify errors early through your intuition as to how the answer should look. And as I've said before, the details, task-focused, getting results works well with those who are imaginative and creative. Just like even working to develop contingency plans based upon information which comes from imaginatively thinking of all possible threats. So you combine the imagination of possible threats with the creativity to find answers to solve them, but most importantly, answers which can be brought into play if they were to occur, and have this in a very logical, well-structured system so that it's very easy to implement. So I've talked a little on how it helps to improve the brain, because it's important for humans to use hypnosis to improve their brain so that they can score highly on all of the 4 dimensions, and try to have each of the 4 interact well, as opposed to having to rely on others from a team to have those certain skills. So I feel as though the more the brain has, the better it can integrate together, because one brain with all knowledge would work much better than having it spread and diversified amongst 3 or 4 others. Having things centralized works really well. There always will be need for teams, but I feel as though they may be more focused on technical knowledge, different separations, as well as big picture generalist versus specialist details. Those versus specialist people who are experts in certain subject matter. So this is, I feel, all I have time for in this post. I may add more in the next post. Groovy. Let's see how we go.